You are watching Kings. Every Saturday, we tell the story of how big brands conquered the world. Today, we're looking at how Nike became the king of sneakers. Welcome to Alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. Hello, Aluxers. It's great to have you here with us today as we're breaking down how Nike, the brand that told you to just do it, became the king of sneakers. In this video, we'll be looking at how the company came to be, the strategy they used, the struggles they had to overcome, and if you watch until the end, you'll learn what the future holds for the luxury sneaker industry and athletic wear markets. Nike, the big picture. When you think about a brand such as Nike, with its 1,182 stores globally and their approximately 73,000 employees, you would think the company was around longer than just over half a century. As of last year, Nike holds the title as the world's leading athletic footwear and apparel manufacturer, and the brand is valued at $15.9 billion. Headquartered on the coastal state of Oregon, Nike is busy dominating the market with their footwear, apparel, sports equipment, and accessories, even though they launched years after competing brands such as Puma or Adidas. The beginning. As with all great things, they usually start as an idea. Phil Knight, then a college student, wrote about the possibility of Japanese shoes replacing the popular German shoes at the time. Obsessed with this idea, Phil Knight traveled to Japan and stumbled across a shoe store that belonged to a company called Onitsuka Tiger. Impressed by the quality of the shoes, he presented a proposal to the owner of the company and became the distributor for the brand in the United States under what you can consider the pre-Nike name Blue Ribbon Sports. After receiving his first 12 pairs of sneakers, he began selling them at every running track out of the trunk of his car. Realizing that this method wasn't going to give him the visibility and growth needed for a business, he sought the assistance of his old coach from university, Bill Bowerman. Mr. Bowerman believed in the shoes and partnered with Phil Knight, officially incorporating Blue Ribbon Sports in the mid-1960s. They invested $1,000 into their first order of 300 pairs of shoes, which was sold out within 3 months, ending the year with $8,000 in sales, enabling them to hire salesmen for the company. As the company flourished over the next 10 years, they realized their designs were benefiting Onitsuka when it was one of Bill Bowerman's designs that gave them the spotlight at the 1968 Olympics in Mexico. They decided that in order to expand and keep control of their designs, they would need to move from being a distributor to manufacturing their own sneakers. Only 8 years later, in 1972, at the end of their contract with Onitsuka, Phil Knight was able to launch the brand as we know it today, Nike, with the now iconic swoosh logo, for which the company only paid $35 at the time. The struggle. Phil Knight knew that starting a business at that time would be tough, and he was often met with discouraging words from people around him. Phil said, "We knew that we could fail. We just didn't think we would. We loved doing what we were doing, and we loved each other." There were no lawyers or attorneys involved, and it was actually his sister that went to City Hall to get the license. His biggest struggle establishing Nike was not having enough money. Venture capital firms weren't providing funding as they do today. Another big problem they encountered was having to deal with the manufacturer Onitsuka fulfilling their local demand in Japan before sending what remained to the US, so they waited until their contract with Onitsuka Tiger was over and began producing the sneakers for themselves. Strategy. With their contract with Onitsuka Tiger expired, Phil Knight was free to have a network of subcontractors across Japan to manufacture his shoes. With this control, his next move was simple: get as many people across the world to wear the sneakers. Nike began sponsoring professional and college athletics teams to wear the brand along with several celebrity athletes. Nike also showed that they had vision by being among the early adopters of email and internet marketing and using technology to create multimedia campaigns to reach their customers. They focused on a niche, sports and exercise, which has steadily grown. People that participate in such activities seek appropriate apparel not only to work out in, but also as a fashion statement. The defining moment. Though it was Bill Bowerman's design that took them mainstream at the Olympics, Nike's defining moment came with the success of their Just Do It campaign. The campaign targeted all Americans and represented the sneakers as a fashion statement. Through their association with professional athletes, it became a symbol of representing success, which ultimately lifted the aspirations of their customers to achieve greatness with every purchase. The value. When you think about sneakers and fitness apparel, there's a plethora to consider. However, this has led to the creation of better products. From their early years, Bill Bowerman instilled a culture of innovation, and today it's one of the reasons Nike is considered a leader, especially with successes such as their Flyknit material, which brought about a sneaker that basically fits like a sock. But what is the cost of such innovation compared to other brands? On average, Nike spends $18 to $34 to produce a sneaker that sells for over $100, compared to brands such as Adidas and Asics that spends $24 to $76 to produce, that also sells for over $100. I would say Nike has found the balance between the suppliers of their raw materials and keeping low overhead costs to be able to manufacture and develop the technology to create high-performance sneakers. Due to Nike's approach of being a source of inspiration, giving it that global appeal, they've been able to contribute tremendously to causes. Back in 2012, they were a part of the Product Red campaign, which was geared toward the prevention of the transmission of HIV between mother to child. Nike also has an ambassador program that allows 3,900 of its employees to participate in educating children on being healthy and having active lifestyles. Now ask yourself, what's the brand you're wearing doing to give back? Controversy. With most of Nike's factories located in countries such as China, Vietnam, Cambodia, and Pakistan, it wasn't long before they came under scrutiny for working conditions in those regions. During the 1990s, Nike was criticized for contracting sweatshops and the use of child labor. Those conditions got the attention of several groups that began campaigns against them. Groups such as anti-globalization groups and the United Students Against Sweatshops. Most recently, just 14 months ago, Nike found themselves once again under the microscope. With the release of the Paradise Papers, not to be confused with the Panama Papers, Nike was named among corporations that used offshore companies to avoid taxes. Nike was apparently maneuvering their after-tax profits through a subsidiary in Bermuda. And Aluxers, if you'd like to learn some more about countries that are considered tax havens, check out our video, The Top 10 Countries with Zero Income Tax, by clicking in the top right corner. The results. To fully understand what it takes to make a successful brand such as Nike, you have to remember it started off as an idea and a man willing to take the journey across continents to make it possible. Nike has grown because of several key elements. Starting with its branding, the logo is simple and memorable. Paired with their motivational marketing, it became a symbol of success and achievement. Nike signing Jordan changed everything in the world of sports marketing. From its inception to merely 2 years ago, Nike has generated over $3.1 billion in revenue. Nike realized it was about more than just getting athletes to speak about the brand. It became what consumers saw it represented. With the Nike Air Jordans, the consumers believed they could be like Mike and transcend boundaries like the Jumpman icon himself. Nike's success with such sponsorships became a major factor in how the brand positioned itself. They've sponsored athletes such as Rafael Nadal, Serena Williams, and Colin Kaepernick. Most recently, Nike signed an 8-year deal with the NBA, becoming the official uniform supplier of the league, and they signed a lifetime contract with LeBron James, which will see him receive over $1 billion by the time he's 64. Clearly, Nike has found their next Michael Jordan. And as an interesting fact, it's said that it was a conversation between LeBron James and Nike's co-founder Phil Knight that convinced them to run the Kaepernick ad campaign after the kneeling controversy. Phil Knight lobbied for the ad, saying it doesn't matter how many people hate your brand as long as enough people love it. Nike's revenue increased to $36.4 billion in 2018 from $34 billion the past year. They've seen steady growth between 2000 to 2017. The future. Sitting as the leader in footwear and apparel, it goes without saying that Nike, though not considered a luxury brand, does take its seat among them as well. Furthermore, Nike is collaborating with the likes of LVMH's Virgil Abloh and releasing 7 Off-White and Nike models, carrying price tags as high as $1,000. Another fashion label that decided to just do it was Comme des Garçons. A brand not usually associated with collaborations partnered with Nike to release CDG Nike Air Max 180s. Some met it with skepticism and expected it may flop, but in true style and color, the collaboration was a success. Nike has also seen its fair share of sitting at the big boy table, acquiring several other apparel companies over the years, owning at one point Umbro and the upscale shoe company Cole Haan. Nike has since sold those companies and currently owns 2 subsidiaries, Converse Inc. and Hurley International. One mainstay for Nike has been their investment into the Air Jordan brand, which were exclusively produced for Michael Jordan back in the 1980s. Nike has not been the aggressive buyer of brands, but they do invest in companies that lend to their growth. If you've used any of Nike's customization tools in-store or online, that may be the work of Invertex, a company Nike acquired in April of 2018. It utilizes 3D scanning to provide its customers with specific e-commerce user experience and create mass customization product lines. Closing. With the steady growth in the industry, no wonder billionaire Bill Ackman bought up a sizable amount of shares in the company to the tune of $365 million. Over the last 3 years, Nike maintains its strong brand presence and have established themselves as marketing leaders. Well, Aluxers, what's your take on Nike? Do you like Nike over their competitors Adidas, Puma, or Reebok? Or are you swoosh all the way? And of course, for sticking with us until the end, we have one more fact for you. Originally, Phil Knight wanted to name the brand Dimension 6. Do you think the brand would have found the same success with that name? We're not so sure. Thank you for spending some time with us, Aluxers. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video. We also handpicked these videos, which we recommend you watch next. Thank you for being an Aluxer, and we'll see you back tomorrow.